It was just before midnight on Christmas Eve when Baba Udo burst into the church, his face pale and his breath ragged. The choir froze mid-song, and the congregation turned to him in alarm. "They're gone," he yelled, his voice cracking with panic. "The Christmas cows, they've disappeared." For a second, there was dead silence. Then, chaos erupted. "Who would dare steal the Christmas cows?" someone shouted. "The kraal is locked at night," another yelled. I knew something was wrong. Mama Ifeoma muttered, clutching her wrapper. Baba Ade, the eldest elder, rose from his seat with a shaky hand. "Calm down," he commanded, his deep voice cutting through the noise. "This is not the time for shouting. We will find the cows. They cannot have gone far." But in our hearts, we all knew this was more than an ordinary theft. There was something strange about how it happened. No sounds, no witnesses, and no sign of struggle, just an empty kraal on Christmas Eve. In our village, the Christmas cows were more than just meat. They were a tradition, a gift from the entire community. Every family contributed what they could, money, grain, even firewood, so we could buy the best cows for the feast. The cows represented unity, shared blessings, and the joy of Christmas. The thought of those cows missing was like a cloud over the festivities. Nobody could imagine Christmas without them. After Baba Ade's command, we organized into search parties. Men, women, even teenagers joined in, armed with torches, machetes, and sticks. Some combed the village, knocking on every door to see if anyone had seen or heard anything suspicious. Others, including my group, followed the trail of hoofprints leading toward the bush. As we walked, the air felt heavy, like the forest was holding its breath. Even the usual chirps and rustles of the night were absent. "Do you think it's thieves?" my cousin Ton whispered beside me. "Who else?" I replied, though I didn't believe it. Something about the silence, the ease with which the cows vanished, didn't feel human. The trail led us deeper into the forest. After what felt like hours, we found the first clue, a rope. It was torn in half, as though something strong had snapped it. Next to it lay a cowbell, its shiny brass now dull with scratches. Baba Udo picked it up, his face grim. "This is from the kraal. We're close." But just as we prepared to move, we heard it, a low, guttural growl that seemed to come from everywhere at once. "Did you hear that?" Mama Ifeoma whispered, clutching her torch tighter. "Yes," Ton replied, his voice shaking. "And I don't think it's human." The growling grew louder, and suddenly, the forest was alive with movement. Bushes rustled, branches cracked, and a cold wind swept through the clearing. "Run!" someone screamed, and we scattered like frightened chickens. I ran blindly, my heart pounding in my chest. I didn't stop until I tripped over a root and fell, scraping my palms on the rough ground. When I looked up, I saw them, the cows. They were tied to a tree in the middle of a clearing, their eyes wide with fear. But standing next to them was someone I never expected to see. "Bassi," I gasped. My cousin turned slowly, his face pale and his eyes wide with guilt. He was holding a machete, and his shirt was stained with sweat and dirt. "Junior," he whispered, his voice barely audible. "You shouldn't be here." "What are you doing?" I demanded, stepping closer. Before he could answer, the rest of the group burst into the clearing. Torches lit up the scene, and gasps filled the air as everyone recognized him. "Bassi." Baba Udo roared. "You stole the Christmas cows." Bassi dropped the machete and fell to his knees. "I didn't mean to steal all of them," he sobbed. "I just wanted one. My family has nothing for Christmas." But then I got greedy, and I heard something in the bush. I panicked and left them here. "You disgraceful boy." Mama Ifeoma shouted, raising her broom to strike him. But before she could swing, the growling returned, louder and closer than before. Out of the shadows stepped a figure cloaked in black, its eyes glowing red like embers. The torches flickered, and the air grew colder. "Humans," the figure said, its voice deep and resonant, You celebrate a season of giving with greed and selfishness. You forget the true meaning of Christmas. The crowd fell to their knees, trembling. Nobody dared speak. The figure turned its fiery gaze on Bassi. You, especially, have betrayed your people. Your greed nearly ruined their joy. I'm sorry, Bassi whispered, tears streaming down his face. The figure raised a hand, and the ropes binding the cows vanished. The animals walked calmly back toward the village, as if guided by an invisible hand. This is your warning, the figure said, its voice echoing through the clearing. Next time, your greed will cost you more than cows. And just like that, it disappeared. By the time we returned to the village, dawn was breaking. The cows were back in the kraal, unharmed, and the whole village gathered to hear what had happened. Bassi, shaking with guilt, confessed everything. I'm sorry, he said. I'll do whatever it takes to make it right. Despite the anger, Baba Ode stepped forward and said, Christmas is about forgiveness. Let this be a lesson to all of us about what this season truly means. That day, the feast was sweeter than ever. The cows were cooked to perfection, the jollof rice was spicy and delicious, and the laughter of children filled the air. But nobody forgot the glowing eyes in the forest, or the lesson they had taught us. What would you have done if you were in the village that night? Would you have forgiven Bassi, or would you have made him pay for his betrayal? Let me know in the comments.
Lessons learnt are: greed destroys unity. Bassi's actions showed how selfishness can harm an entire community. Forgiveness brings healing. The village's decision to forgive. Bassi restored peace and joy. Christmas is about love, not greed. True celebration comes from sharing and caring for one another. Please like and follow. Bye.